They were inseparable on stage. Two identical sisters, sparkling under the lights, dancing in perfect sync. But what if I told you they chose to be inseparable in death, too? Alice and Ellen Kessler, the legendary Kessler twins, made a quiet pact to end their lives together at the exact same moment. Today, we dive into how these two icons of the 1950s and 60s rose to fame, the life they shared, and why, after nearly 90 years, they decided to leave the world as they had lived, side by side. Alice and Ellen Kessler were born on 20th August 1936 in Nurschau, Germany. From childhood, they trained in ballet, eventually joining the Leipzig Opera's children's ballet company around age 11. In their teenage years, their family fled East Germany and moved to West Germany, a risky, life-changing decision. They launched their entertainment career soon after, becoming dancers, singers, and actresses. By the late 1950s and 60s, they were stars across Europe, especially in Italy, where they earned the nickname Le Gemelle Kessler, the Kessler twins. Their graceful legs, precision, and glamour made them icons on television and stage. In Italy, they were even dubbed the legs of the nation. Their breakthrough came with their signature routine, Dada Umpa, choreographed by Antonello Falchi. They danced in the Paris Lido, one of the most famous cabarets, joined the Bluebell Girls. They also appeared in films, for example, in the 1962 movie Sodom and Gomorrah, and were featured on the cover of Life magazine. On television, they made a huge impact. They performed on Italian variety shows like Studio One. They also made it to American TV, The Ed Sullivan Show. Beyond singing and dancing, they represented West Germany in the 1959 Eurovision Song Contest. Alice and Ellen shared more than just talent. They shared life. They lived in adjoining flats in Grunwald, near Munich, separated only by a sliding wall. Their bond was deeply emotional and constant. Neither of them ever married. They prioritized their independence and their closeness to each other. Over the years, they said publicly that if one couldn't go on, the other wouldn't want to live without her. They even made plans for how they would die and be remembered. They asked to be cremated and have their ashes placed in the single urn alongside their mother, Elsa, and their dog, Yellow. On 17 November 2025, Alice and Ellen Kessler passed away together at the age of 89 at their home in Grunwald. Their death was confirmed to be a joint-assisted suicide, a process they carefully planned. They approached the Deutsche Gesellschaft für Humanes Sterben, the German Society for Human Dying, well in advance, and picked the exact date for their decision. According to DHGS, their choice was voluntary, well considered over a long time, and free from any psychiatric crisis. They self-administered physician-prescribed life-ending drugs in the presence of a doctor and a lawyer per legal provisions in Germany. Under German law, since 2019, people can legally self-administer assisted dying, if they choose. This is different from euthanasia. So why did Alice and Ellen make this decision? According to reports, they simply no longer wanted to live. Not because of any depression or psychiatric illness, but due to age, reflection, and a deep desire to leave together in the same way they lived. They insisted on choosing their own death date, 17th November, symbolically closing the final chapter of their lives in unity. Their long-standing wish to have their ashes in a single urn was honored. Alice and Ellen Kessler left behind a legacy that goes beyond their performances. They were symbols of post-war Europe's cultural rebirth, of showbiz glamour, and of unwavering sisterhood. In Italy, they remain beloved. Their routines, their elegance, their presence on TV shaped a generation. Even decades later, people remember them not just for their legs and dance, but for their courage to choose how they entered and exited life. Alice and Ellen Kessler were more than just performers. They were a living testament to unity, art, and choice. Their final act wasn't tragic, but deeply intentional. They wrote their own ending, choosing a dignified farewell side by side. Their story forces us to think, what does it mean to live on your own terms? And in a world where death is often feared, what does it take to die by design, not by default? If you found this story touching or thought-provoking, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more videos that explore icons, deep bonds, and human stories with heart. Let me know in the comments, do you think their decision was brave or too much? I'd love to hear your thoughts.